Welcome to Red Kite Cycles. Today we're going to talk a little bit about the Trek Domane range and the Silque as well. These are Trek's endurance bikes. It's a newish sort of category in cycling, and Trek have become class leaders with their range. So what are the highlights of the range for you, Greg?
I think the key thing really is the technology that's gone into making the bikes comfortable. So in particular, you'll see on the ALR version here, you've got the ISO-speed decoupler at the junction of the seat post and the top tube, which really makes a big difference in terms of the comfort on the bike.
As you go up the range, they do more with that. They develop this as an idea. They also go towards ISO-speed on the top, on the head tube. But one of the other characteristics of endurance bikes is they're called endurance because you're meant to be able to ride them more easily for longer. But this bike has an increased wheelbase for stability. It's got a dropped back bottom bracket, only by 8mm, but it's significant to give increased, drop your centre of gravity, increased stability. So across all the range, as we look through them, you'll see these features developed and turned into some really high-end, super desirable, super purposeful bikes, basically. So let's focus in on the ALR 4. This is the disc version of the bike. There's a caliper version of it as well. It's an all-new version for this year. Greg, a few things about this bike.
Well, we talked briefly about the ISO-speed decoupler in the seat post. You've got some curved forks at the front, so that takes the buzz out of the riding on the road from that point of view. With the disc brakes, you've got these are hydraulic discs. So they've got bolt-through axles on front and rear. Nice chunky tyres on wide rims. So big 32mm wide tyres on this particular version. So additional comfort provided by.
We've built this bike for people to ride as a winter bike as well, haven't we? Because it has mudguard mounts on it, so it's actually a super versatile bike. It will take mudguards mounting in here, and underneath here. That makes it great for a road bike. Greg, this is the Domane S. Can you tell us a little bit about what's special about this bike?
So this one, key thing is you're moving on to a carbon frame bike. So it's lighter, it's going to be stiffer in the right places and more compliant where you want it to add a little extra comfort. You'll notice on this it's got bolt-through axles, which you'll have on all the disc brake versions. So you've got another addition to the stiffness in the wheel area. This particular model's got external cable routing, which you'll see changes as you go up the model ranges.
So summarising this bike then, Greg, the ISO-speed on a carbon bike probably gives more compliance than on the aluminium bike.
Absolutely.
And the quality through the rest of the bike is about that improved lightness, stiffness, performance.
So Adrian, this is the SL version. What's the difference with this one?
Well, there's a couple of differences on the SL. Big difference is upper grade in carbon. This is 500 series. We're really starting to get into the upper reaches of Trek's carbon technology. So the compliance effect is greater, internally routed, but now we get the addition of the front ISO-speed decoupler. And what that means is we've now got a bike that has compliance built in here, with these two pivoted here, and we also have it with a fantastic headset assembly in here. This is a bike that is more comfortable at the front than the earlier models in the range. They're good, and this is better. It still runs on big tyres, still has all of the other assets. What you notice about this one, rim brake instead of disc brake. All of their bikes are available in disc brake and rim brake. This one here, direct mount rim brakes.
Okay.
So we've put a different bike up on the stand here. This is the Domane SLR. This is the creme de la creme in their range. It's the caliper version rather than disc. Greg, do you want to say what's special about this bike?
Well, you're moving up to the next level of carbon with this one. So this is a 600 series. So again, additional stiffness and lightness. You've got a beautiful set of wheels on this. These are 25mm wide rims with some chunky 28mm tyres on. So they look really stonking. You go up to the top, you're looking at, you've got a carbon bar. You've got decoupler on the front as you have on the SL version, but at the back you've got a slightly different approach. So you've not only got the ISO-speed decoupler, but you've got an adjustment in there as well. So starting at the bottom, you've got a very much more flexible ride. So if you're hitting the cobbles, you can make your ride that much more comfortable. Move it to the centre, and you're, as the other models in the range in terms of comfort, and push it up to the top, and you've got something that's equivalent to the Amonda. So very, very versatile setup on this bike.
This one's running mechanical gears, but with all of these, with the SL and the SLR, if you want to put electronic shifting on them, they have an internal box here where you would mount the battery and have access to the battery. So it's another really sleek idea, along with these brakes and this adjustment and the direct mounts, that you have system integration on these bikes. So this is the top of the range, Greg. They're a fantastic range of bikes that come from not much over £1,000 up to the higher reaches and the really super bikes. Just before we disappear, I want to just say something about the women's specific version of this bike, which is of the same family. This one is the Silque. This model is the S with 400 carbon. There are others in the range. They go up to an SLR as well, don't they? The top of the range one to match it. What's specific about the women's fit on these bikes?
Well, you've got all the same sort of features, but the particular things about the women's bike is you've got a slightly higher front end, you've got narrower bars, you've got a sort of slightly more sloped top tube, shorter reach, women's specific saddle. So really these are designed very much for comfort for a woman rider.
I mean, I think the thing with all of these bikes is they're light like any good carbon sports bike, aren't they?
Indeed they are.
But what really gives them their edge is the comfort that you feel on them. This is a bike that, again, like the others, is lower in the middle. It gives you a great feeling of comfort and stability on the bike. So your effort still turns into speed, but it isn't an unsettling ride at all.